friends, welcome back. Some more here bringing you some more 7 Days to Die news. This is a series in which I take the long videos that Joel makes regarding his art series and the forums Q&A, and I try and condense it down for us, and I give you a little bit of S'more's 2 cents here. So let's get going. Alpha 16 QA number 10. Joel makes the comment, breadcrumbs will enhance the feral system, which to me seems like we'll still have all the current game mechanics, but the breadcrumbs may make the ferals penetrate your base better. Probably still not a good enough reason to use the word penetrate, but there you go. So he says sleepers will make it at Alpha 16, which I just recorded the bits and notes that I took on the Alpha 16 art video number 11, and one of my notes says that Joel doesn't confirm it in Alpha 16, but here my note says that he does. And if you guys catch the previous video, I'll reiterate again, I'm really curious as to see how this makes town clearing different. Joel has said it will make town clearing much harder. The streets might be a little bit safer. Your threat's going to be inside the buildings, and I think it's going to really slow down looting. There's going to be a lot of close quarter combat unless you knock all the doors open and then let everything, and then lure everything out onto the road. Let's see, note number 3 here. Joel says no to fun seasonal events. I think that's because Joel hates fun. Just kidding. But I think it is too bad because the poster had suggested maybe Zambies drop candy for Halloween, or maybe you get colored eggs out of birds' nests to celebrate Easter. I think those are great ideas. I think they're fun. I think that if we're going to suspend the illusion of reality with zombies, I think we can have a little bit of fun with it too. To be honest, I think the game's really missing a lighthearted element to it. So that's too bad. Maybe, I'm sure the modders can help us out there. The mod community has already been really impressive, at least to me. Let's see. Joel made the comment, maybe bigger horde size with optimizations, and of course, that'll come in beta, which we'll talk about more at the end of the video. No light changing as distant POI generation becomes a thing. The poster had asked and used Oblivion of all games. I'm not really sure why Oblivion. About how when you get close to a POI, the lights will pop on and such. Joel had said no, and I think that's an engine thing. I think it's great for a AAA studio developing a massive AAA title like Oblivion was, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. But yeah, probably not going to happen in 7 Days to Die, or even the next game that Joel develops, that the Fun Pimps develop, which he actually talked about a little bit at the end of his video. Joel says maybe to pontoons, which I would really like because I think water would be a fantastic thing to build, and in past alphas you could just throw a block on top of water and it would float, giving you infinite structural integrity. I'm not sure what blocks do now in water. I haven't built with the water in a long time, but I would take that added dash of realism with pontoons. If anything, I'd like my game to be a little bit more realistic and maybe even a tiny bit more tedious and grindy, and I will come up with clever solutions around that than to just not have a feature like pontoons. Water, though, is really going to need a third swing, a third pass. We got our last one in Alpha 11, I believe. And Joel acknowledges that. He's on board with that. They just apparently haven't really sat down and discussed what all they want to do with water, and I don't think we'll see another swing at that until 18, maybe 19, really, the way things seem to go. Joel says a metal detector is something that they have talked about, but he's hesitant, saying that if you need a metal detector, then maybe the code for ore generation isn't quite there. He says he's not a fan of the way ores are done right now. And to be honest, neither am I. I think I've been kind of vocal about this, where I would like all ores in all biomes. Define it by strata and make it harder. And Creativerse did it really nicely, where you needed resources from one layer of strata to get to the next layer of strata, and not all those resources were really easy to find. Joel also tangented quite a bit and talked about making resource spawning machines, such as, let's say, we'll hit that up in a later one. Yeah, we'll come back to that. But he does also mention, with perfect ore distribution, you find a cave and you mine branches off of the cave to find your resources better. He also made a comment about respawning surface deposits here in this same post. He talks more than I do. He talked about surface deposits respawning, and I think that was so if a player didn't really want to get into mining hardcore and didn't mind not having every gadget in the game, they wouldn't necessarily have to if those little surface deposits came back. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes, I guess. I noted here, user Captain Laserpants. If you were listening, you have the best avatar username ever. Congratulations. Here's some more for you. Joel commented no to making an auger, a dirt gravel sand tool, and implementing a jackhammer for stone and concrete. Joel says it could be a good idea, but it's just another tool to have, to maintain, to try and find parts to put together, and find fuel for. And I actually agree about... Oh, and he also commented about, when you're just going in to just go hog something out, right? You want all the resources as quickly as possible. Do you really want to be fueling 2 tools? Do you want to switch back and forth depending on what tool you want to pound or what ore you want to pound on next? And I agree about all of those things, but like I said before, give me a little bit of a grind. Give me just a little bit of tedious and give me some complicated stuff. Give me some complicated mechanics, and I will come up with clever solutions around them. Joel talked a lot about this for a while. And Joel seems to have really soured on mining. I think he's kind of burnt out on it. And we were all burnt out on mining to some degree, like 4 alphas ago, but it's nice for him to have caught up with us. He talked about eventually possibly being able to make large machines that would do a lot of these tedious and arduous tasks for us, and or assigning an NPC to go do those things. And I think it would be such that you plop a machine down in a certain area, and the machine would be expensive to build. And you'd have to maintain it, and it would be loud, and it would be a heat-generating item, right? So you're going to constantly defend it from both players and the PvP aspect, zombies and screamers and such. But you would let it run, and you would essentially, once you've got it made and in place and have defended it and repaired it and fueled it, you'd be trading fuel for just resources that you would just pull out of the machine as if it were a loot container. He talked about oil pumps and rock mining machines. And then again, he commented about maybe NPCs doing mining or other tedious tasks. I'd love for them to harvest and replant crops. For whatever reason, I love doing it in Minecraft because we can get real clever with it. In 7 Days to Die, I think it's just a pain in the ass. Joel says no to calls or expressions or emotes between players. Which, again, much like the seasonal events, I think they could be fun. The poster was asking about working with other people that maybe aren't on your TeamSpeak, but when I play multiplayer, I'm always on TeamSpeak with whomever I'm co-oping or multiplaying with, so it hasn't been a big problem for me. The block overhaul system is not going to be in Alpha 16, and I think he's mentioned that already too. And then all alongside of that, the block overhaul is not going to impact how water impacts or interacts with the blocks. He says they're currently focusing on trying to polish up sleepers and electricity. I think both of those are going to be great in Alpha 16. My most exciting thing here, and actually my note here is just one sentence long about it, but Joel is interested in making melee combat more than whack-a-mole, which I really appreciate because I'm pretty good at the melee combat, and I think it needs a severe buff. Including power attacks, knockbacks, and maybe even blocking, which I would personally love. I'd love to get my Skyrim level sword board on in this game. Sword in your main hand, shield in your offhand. Give me a block, a power bash, and then a melee attack. Make it all heavily tied to stamina so you're not too beast mode, and let the player go to town. Oh, man, we really need that. Joel says no to a more realistic nutrition system. The example the poster gave was 2 bars. One is, both are for hunger. Don't let either of them get low, but one is specifically for nutrients, and vitamins, things like that, and the other being for protein. I really liked it, but again, I don't mind complicated mechanics, getting into the weeds a little bit. I'll be clever. I'll figure it out. Joel goes on to talk about how simple is best, and again, I just could not disagree more. Here's what I had to say. I wrote as I'm listening to this: give the player options, let them figure it out. Hell, those are guiding principles to a little game you may have heard of called Morrowind. He says food will get an overhaul, but now that overhaul sounds like it'll be meh. We have all these unique crops and good foods that we can make, and oh my gosh, the mod scene for food is intense. It's awesome. I think there should be some benefit, more than just various wellness bumps or resource costs to making the various food. Joel says no to having screamer zombies at horde nights and no to UMA zombies and roaming hordes. It's all about frame rate. All right. Joel says maybe to a pile of money block. Which would be used to make a survivor's vault appear more opulent. That'd be cool. Oh, also, no to, let's see, I remember it and I didn't make a note about it, but I am recalling it here and it kind of ties in. No to making Duke's casino tokens and money a stat and not take up a block. So, I kind of wish it was a stat, but that's just me. Or give me a wallet. Hell, I want a whole bunch of like small storage containers. I want a coin bag. I want a quiver. I want the belt, which we have. I want backpack options, but I probably won't get any of those. But yeah, s'mores 2 cents. So one of the posters pointed out that apparently there is a map file size limit. What I mean by that is when you expose too much of the map will turn around and apply the fog of war back to areas you've previously discovered. I didn't know this, but I can recall having seen this in previous games I've played, previous alphas. Joel went on to kind of squish anything else with the game that has to do with maps. Anything new. Maps are done. Maps are where they're at. They're what we're going to have, and that's it. But I would love to see more mechanics using the map. Maybe a large map that you can put on the wall to show everybody where everything's at. Think the skirmish maps in Skyrim on all of the Jarl's desks. Something like that. He also says no to player-made or findable maps, which is too bad because I would love to be able to find a map in the game, have it in my hand, right-click, use it, and then go to my map and see which square kilometer had the fog of war removed. Like, to me, that should be moddable. Modders, jump on that. Joel liked the idea of the opposite of a take-all button, which I guess would be a deposit all. Inventory into a container. You know what else would be nice? The ability to scrap things from a keyboard click. Only been asking for that for like 4 alphas. Joel says maybe to a timer on when you are smelting an ore down, so that way you could see whatever you put in that smelt slot on the forge. You'd be able to see how long it would take for that thing to smelt. Sometimes I think it's broken and the thing's not smelting at all, but maybe it isn't. It just takes forever. Almost done, guys. Joel says maybe to newer and bigger zombies that fit through either small 1-block holes or take out defensive measures. I'm not really a fan of either. And again, I'll voice the opinion again. I don't like this whole huge zombie that reanimates zombies that you just killed. Like, somebody died and got turned to a zombie, okay. But this alien-esque zombie that turns around and reses the zombie again, I'm sorry, that's where I draw the line in suspending realism. Saying that aloud, it seems a little ridiculous, but that's s'mores line right there. Right there. Don't like it. No to AI pathing improvements, just the breadcrumb system. Though now he turns around and says breadcrumb system may not make it into A16. But we will see. We'll see how it goes. I know that as they get closer and they want to get to dropping A16, features are going to get cut and pushed back into 17. We've seen that in the last 3 or 4 alphas, and I'm okay with that. But I also wouldn't mind them waiting another month to get another large feature in and then continue to polish. Like, I'm fine with that. 15 is stable. It's pretty fun. It's got a fantastic mod scene. If they're going to ride an alpha, I think 15 is a really good alpha to ride. Lastly, Joel states, someone had asked what they were going to be doing during beta, and Joel had stated that beta will be used for optimization, bug, and glitch correction, which I think is correct. Alpha can be for features, and if some awesome idea eluded us during alpha and is presented during beta, absolutely, take a swing for it. But that optimization is going to be huge, and I think that the mod scene is just going to go crazy once we optimize this game. Double the zombie count in your world, better animations, maybe melee overall. Who knows how much of the game they're going to release and open up to modding, and then all the awesome things the modding community is going to do with it. Well, guys, that wraps this up. Let's see. Let me rehash here. This was Alpha 16 Q&A number 10 from Joel. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about this series in the comment section below. I enjoy doing it, and it's fun to be able to give my 2 cents, then read your guys' 2 cents in the comment section below. So make sure you're contributing those comments in the comment section. I love reading it, having the discussion. You guys have such good ideas often, the things I don't even think of that could be in the game or different ways to do the existing mechanics. With that, guys, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Thank you for watching share, subscribe for more.